Hello. How's it going, people? Welcome to the stream. Welcome. And today, I'm not gonna lie, this evening we gonna have some chill, relaxing vibes, basically. Today, we're gonna just talk about some random stuff regarding Arsenal. Hopefully, don't get too annoyed, obviously. But we're gonna talk about Isak or Benjamin Sesko because there have been some talks from Ben Jacobs. We're gonna talk about Merino because he has spoken about the season at Arsenal, how it's panning out, and what he's expecting from Premier League, Champions League, and everything. And of course, speaking of Champions League, we're gonna talk about the Champions League dream because let's be real, only hope Arsenal to have any shot at any silverware, specifically this season, is to do something in Champions League. Of course, that is basically it's very far-fetched to some extent, but hey, that's our only hope. That's something we have. So let's see how that goes in general. So if you're new around here, subscribe, like the stream, and leave your thoughts down in the live chat, and we're gonna talk about all this good stuff. France is Croatia. It's 0-0 at the moment. Knowing how this goes, Kramaric missed a penalty as well. Interesting 11 from France, but if I had to put my money on it, I would say it's gonna be 2-0 France. If I had to basically risk it for the biscuit. Big up, coach. Big up. Yeah, I'm getting better. Still ill, by the way. Still sick. I'm still not good. I have I have annoying cough. I have annoying everything, to be honest. Let's be real. When I cough, it feels like my lungs are still gonna explode. So hopefully it passes very soon. But overall, I'm still not feeling too great. Yeah, Carvajal is back as well. So good for us. Good for Real Madrid. Not so good for us. Nice incisive goal from Nico. So what? Genuinely, so what? I don't judge players by international games. I don't give a damn. Because international games in general are very misleading. The way I see how internationals go, the way internationals are being portrayed, it's very misleading because predominantly many players ball out in international tournaments and then basically fall flat on their face during the club season. So I don't judge by international tournaments. Yes, cool, he scored, but otherwise it won't be a reason why I'm gonna be a hype merchant and try and hype him up whatsoever. Asensio wants to win Champions League this year, bro. They will. Yeah, Asensio, he's 19, he's like mini Sergio Ramos, and it feels like he has more mental stability than most of our players. Nah, I don't care. Nico, not for me. Ginger, garlic, tea. I'm trying. I have medicine, antibiotics, everything. It's slow, very slow process. Big up, Nathan. Big up. We'll give them pizzas. I wouldn't be too sure, but the international games are playing the best players that could. My ass! That's even more of a reason why I wouldn't sign him. And to be honest, De La Fuente is the Spanish manager. He has coached every single Spanish team starting from under 12s. 12s, 14s, 16s, 18s, 21s, and the main team, so he knows what all these players are all about. For me, international tournaments are not a benchmark I'm gonna basically measure a player for. Much rather look him for 2 seasons in the club rather than watch him for one tournament. Yeah, he kicks the ball outside the box. Will be hard to get into Madrid's box. Yeah, it could be the case. Forget Williams, Barcola. Nah, Barcola is not leaving as well. Let's be real. For me, the only interesting fact was the fact that they had Barcola on one side, Dembele on the other side, and one day signed Kvaratskhelia, because that would have meant that one of them is gonna go. But ultimately, they don't need to do that even. Dembele can play on either side or even a striker. Barcola can play on either side or even a striker. And Kvaratskhelia also can play on either side or even as a striker if necessary, as a false 9, basically. So they can rotate and they can mix and match. And Barcola won't be leaving PSG, let's be real as well. Barcola is also not the one that's gonna leave, in my opinion. I don't want Williams whatsoever. I see coach is very hyped up by him, I'm not. As far as I have watched La Liga, watched him at Athletic Bilbao, But I'm not convinced whatsoever. And I will say this until I'm out of breath. I much rather signing Yaki Williams than Nico Williams. That's why Messi won Ballon d'Or recently when he won Copa, and that's why Rodri won because he won Euros. To be honest, when Rodri won it, I think Carvajal should have gotten it for me personally. I think national football is the highest level of football because they're playing. He can't even cook in La Liga, but Anthony. That is also the case. As soon as players leave United, they start to play good. But we cannot even clown for that, because as soon as players leave Arsenal, they start to win trophies. So that is also not the right thing. Oh my goodness. This Nico Williams suckfest going on is really just not it. For me, he's not it. For me, genuinely, he's not it. Anthony is very good. Anthony is doing very, very good. Italy is winning 1-0 against Germany. Tonali scored. Calafiori is playing in the 3 at the back as a center back. Shocking news. He actually can play as a center back. Anyhow. According to Ben Jacobs, it feels like Arsenal will be choosing between one of these two, but I think this will change closer come the transfer window. Basically, Alexander Isak, he is the dream target, the number one target, but all of us have a number one things we'd like in the world that are very unlikely to happen, which in this case is Alexander Isak in a way, let's be real. Is Isak generally available? Berta will get a quick read on that. A quick read, definitely not a quick read. If he is, he becomes Arsenal's top choice. If he isn't available, I'd be relatively confident in saying that Arsenal will make a significant play on Benjamin Sesko. He's sold on the project. If he was so sold on the project, right? Why didn't he join in the summer? Oh wait, Mikel Arteta told him that he is not gonna be the starting guy. He's gonna play behind Kai Havertz. Basically, he's gonna be playing behind, be the second fiddle to Kai Havertz. So at the end of the day, he basically rejected us solely because he didn't want to play for us. He didn't want to be the number 2 guy. He wanted to be number 1 instantly. And given the fact that if Arsenal cannot afford Alexander Isak, Sesko will be the one, it's gonna be Sesko. It's gonna be Sesko. It looks that way. Sesko to Arsenal have a very high percentage chance, but he won't pull the trigger until they know the Isak question. And I have big problems with this. I'm not gonna lie, I have very big problems with this. Because we have been linked with Isak in what it feels like for a century. And we have been linked with Sesko as well, what it feels like for it to be a century. No other options have been explored to this extent and to this amount as much as they have been talking about these two specifically. We didn't see the same coverage for Tony, for Watkins, or anyone else. Let's be real. And that for me is a big issue. Because the PTSD of Arsenal in transfer windows is very, very strong for me. It predominantly when we are linked to someone like this very, very, very long time, it is a big issue, right? But the thing is, many times when Arsenal are heavily linked with a player, they tend to not to sign them. You have noticed that as well. Yes, we were linked for a month and a half, we were dealing for Calafiori, month for Merino and everything. But that many times with Arsenal, the more we are linked with the player, the less of a chance is that we're going to sign him. And the more I watch Sesko, for example, the less I want him at Arsenal. The less I want him at Arsenal, because when I watch him at Leipzig, he basically, if he sets his mind on shooting, he's going to shoot, right? He doesn't care if there's a defender in front of him, if he whiffs the shot or whatever. If it's 40 yards out, 20 yards out, or 50 yards out, if he decides to shoot, he's going to shoot. And he has this tunnel vision. Yes, he's tall. Yes, he's strong. And he has pace. He can finish with both feet. Okay, cool. But technically, he's lacking quite a bit. Passing-wise, he's also not it. So basically, he's like a Temu version of Haaland. AliExpress version of Haaland at the end of the day. And isn't that telling you something? Because Mikel Arteta has done this over and over and over again. Same style as Pep. Inverting like Pep. Same type of players as Pep. And now we're gonna try and sign the same player as Pep. Similar player like Pep. Like, for me, it just doesn't give any sort of confidence whatsoever. And this is where I hope Andrea Berta comes in and puts his foot to the ground and says, you know what? Screw you, Mikel. We are not going for Isak. We are not going for Benjamin Sesko. We gonna go for someone else. Genuinely, I really hope Andrea Berta puts his foot down and just says none of these. Exactly, would Berta buy Sesko for Simeone? Ironically enough, by the way, since Berta has left, right, Atletico Madrid, in the last few days, I have seen reports that Atletico Madrid are interested in Sesko. Maybe Simeone specifically wants Sesko. But then again, I would trust Simeone as Sesko. I'm not gonna lie. Because the track record of him having strikers like Correa, Griezmann, Diego Costa, Morata, who else? Sorloth, Jackson Martinez, players like that. Jackson Martinez, right? The Colombian striker. Might have been. Anyways, all of the strikers, David Villa and everything, he has a good track record. He knows how to coach them. He knows how to get them firing on all cylinders. He knows. That is the biggest thing. With Mikel Arteta, I haven't seen him coach a striker once. Like a proper striker. Because we had a proper striker, he put him out at left wing. And to be honest, if we signed Isak, I wouldn't be surprised if Mikel Arteta puts him at left wing and forces him to come back on defense as a left wing back half the time. I wouldn't be surprised, wouldn't you? Would you be surprised if he does that? Because he did the same thing with Aubameyang. That wouldn't be nothing new. To some extent as well, even if he did that. So under Mikel Arteta, I haven't seen him coach a striker, so I have no trust in him that he could coach a high-end level striker like Gyökeres, Isak, anyone, right? And at the same time, I also don't have any trust in Mikel Arteta that he can develop a striker. We haven't even seen him to develop a youth player properly still. And now Sesko is he's young, he needs massive growth, specifically in dribbling and passing and finishing, and he needs to improve somehow his footballing IQ, and that is also footballing IQ is something you cannot coach. It's either you have it or you don't at the end of the day, to some extent. And even at Leipzig, he has this tunnel vision, and if he decides to shoot, he's gonna shoot. And Mikel Arteta wants to play an all-around passing game. Let's just say Mikel Arteta stays for one more season, right? He's not gonna fit in there. He's just gonna be there like stranded on a desert island. Like Haaland is at Manchester City. Basically, he hopes that Doku, Savio, Gundogan, Rico Lewis, someone crosses the ball improperly, so he can just be at the end of the cross and put it in the back of the net. The thing with Haaland is, most likely, he's gonna put it at the back of the net. With Sesko, for example, you don't have those guarantees. Sesko at the same level is also very, very inconsistent in front of the net. So, it is a big issue here. Because I really hope that basically Berta says, if you want Sesko, you must be nuts, because he's not good enough. I get Isak, but Sesko definitely is not it. I really hope if he comes and they start to talk about this, he puts his foot down in this regard. If you say he's new Leva, just don't even compare him to Lewandowski. Also looks like Watson got added to England squad, I think replaced. Yeah, Palmer is ill as well. Palmer is ill. He didn't play against Arsenal, obviously. By the way, Netherlands are playing at the moment against Spain, right? And Timber is not playing because he is ill as well. Not injured, but he also is not playing due to illness. Well, I wonder what has happened there. I like Gyökeres not because of his goal record, but his type of striker that looks to shoot rather than playmaker type shoots. That's the thing. I like that in a player, right? At the same time, have you seen Arsenal play that way? Like, looks to shoot. Don't we, as a team, especially under Mikel Arteta, overplay the possession? When we have a chance to shoot, we pass the ball off. We try to find the perfect shot, perfect opportunity, perfect situation, unless we cross the ball. Predominantly, we try to find the ideal opportunity. And with in this regard, it's not gonna work like that, is it? With the Gyökeres, it's not gonna work like that. In this instance as well, and Gyökeres as well. He needs some space. He needs some space as well in that regard, and Arsenal don't have space, especially under low blocks. Personally, my favorite French wonder kid right now, Neymar. Desiree Doué is very good. I'm not gonna lie, Desiree Doué is very exciting young prospect. I'm not gonna lie. Together like Vitinha, Ben as well, yeah. Good point about Mikel not getting the best out of attackers. That's why I'm looking at individual attributes over stats. Maybe Sesko will do himself just by being fit. Maybe, but let's be real. We all know that Mikel Arteta is not good enough. He's lacking in many aspects. And you could make a very strong argument for the case that the fact that Mikel Arteta is inexperienced, he doesn't know better at many instances, basically has been covered up by share moments of brilliance by Bukayo Saka at times, by Martinelli at times, by something random that happens during games, or by corners. Basically, by certain situations where we managed to score, we managed to look somewhat decent. It basically has painted all the cracks in terms of Mikel Arteta maybe not being tactically as good, not making the right substitutions, screwing the game balance up and all this stuff, picking the wrong 11. Genuinely the sheer brilliance. And that sometimes works, obviously. Signing high-end level players to maybe cover insufficiencies maybe in the manager, that kind of works. At the same time, I'm not too sure. Suck Arteta, get him out, simple, if he doesn't want to break his line. Yeah, if Sesko scores 20 plus goals, I bet you I will say I was wrong, my apologies. If he scores 20 plus goals. $14 goals in last season in Bundesliga. 14 goals. 16 goals in Austrian League. Would be nice if it loaded a bit quicker, obviously. 16 goals in Austrian League. 21-22 season. Come on, load already. I hate that this site is very slow at times. 5 goals. And this season, he had what, 10 goals? Right? Yeah, he has 10 goals. He cannot even score 20 goals in Bundesliga. He couldn't even score 20 goals in Austrian League. So what gives you any inkling he could do that in Premier League? How comes only Arsenal are looking at him? Only Arsenal are looking at Sesko. Every other team is looking at Ekitike. Everyone else was looking at Marmoush. Everyone's looking at all the other strikers pretty much that are in Bundesliga. Only Arsenal are looking at Benjamin Sesko. Like, don't care. Genuinely don't care. For me, Sesko is not good enough. I have watched about 50 games watching Bundesliga. I have watched about 20 involving Sesko. He is not good enough. Footballing IQ is not there. He shoots straight into defenders. He has tunnel vision during games. His passing is way off. He doesn't have proper first touch. Yes, he can finish on both feet more often than not, but in front of the net, he is a bit better than Kai Havertz and very inconsistent. For me, if we are going for a title, Sesko nowhere near is the answer. Genuinely. Yeah, Timber is not playing. Timber is not playing. Mikel is now experienced. Where is he experienced? 6 years. Same subs, same tactical decisions, same signings, same mistakes. Nothing has changed in 5 years. Same formation, no actual tactical adjustments, only plan A, no plan B, and the same results. Where? Where is the fact that we can't say he's inexperienced? To be honest, he's experienced in failure at the end of the day. He's not good enough. Let's be real, he is not good enough. How can you say? He should have been doing better 2 seasons ago. He said he learned a lot from the first season we challenged. Looking now, he hasn't learned anything. Same mistakes, same squad that is still too small, signing mediocre players, substitutes being not good enough, overplaying the same players, same starting 11 more or less every single game with no proper backups. Only thing why he got lucky last year was because we didn't get any injuries. Now that we get injuries, all of a sudden he can't do anything because he doesn't know what to do. His recruitment is genuinely abysmal, and at the end of the day, he has wasted all the money. He genuinely doesn't know what he's doing. Let's be real. He has confirmation Timber is not playing, by the way. He's not facing Spain. And here it is. Former Arsenal chief Keith Edelman. He said this. If you look at the wage bill and the playing squad Arsenal have, you have to conclude that they have spent their money unwisely. At the end of the day, the board has got to be responsible. Exactly. Mikel Arteta is responsible for identifying those players in general, let's be real. And then the board is responsible for signing off for these players and putting them on such stupid high amount of wages and paying what they paid for them to an extent where we cannot sell them. We barely can loan them out. And nobody wants to buy them, yet we technically sign players everyone wants. But when we try to sell, everyone shows us middle finger and walks away. How does that make any sense? The Brighton coach is inexperienced, not Mikel. We should hold him at normal standards. Mikel is no longer a rookie. I think how you know if I'm not mistaken, who was the manager? Fabian Hertzler. You say he's inexperienced, right? He won Bundesliga too, to be fair, with St. Pauli last year. Got them promoted into Bundesliga for this season. So kinda cannot say he's actually not experienced because he actually won something. He has won a league. He has won Bundesliga too, ironically enough. Whether you like it or not. That is the big thing. That is actually kinda nuts if you think about it. Actually, that is kinda nuts. He has actually won the league. Well, not that league, but he has won the league. Oh, Croatia scored. Budimir scored. Oh, that bastard. Netherlands have scored. Gakpo scored from Justin Kluivert, by the way. But yeah. Same crying like a bitch when he won. Yeah, same thing. Blames the ball, squeezes lemons, pickpockets his own players, storms out of interviews. And by the way, have you noticed that since Andrea Berta has been talked about, specifically talked about, and has signed, obviously not officially announced, but signed for Arsenal, Mikel Arteta has been super annoyed, super rattled, and super vexed during interviews. Have you noticed that? Because he never stormed out. He always had some bullshit excuse and everything. He waffled a lot. But now with Berta coming in, all of a sudden, he starts to argue with the journalists. He storms out of interviews. He looks very worried when he gets asked certain questions. And he doesn't know what to say at times. I think the fact that Arsenal have signed Andrea Berta as the director of football has basically kind of inklinked or indicated to Mikel Arteta that his days are pretty much numbered at Arsenal. Kind of feels that way. He knows that he is now in deep shit. He needs to somehow get out of them. He's in quicksand at the moment, by the way. The more he struggles, the faster he will sink at the end of the day. And it looks like it's pretty much inevitable to some extent. That's how it looks like. At least that's how it feels like from the outside as well. Because he knew he's in deep. Yeah, he is. And he really is as well. Really, really deep ones as well. By the way, this is a nuts one. Debate. Polymarket shows the percentage of chance each side has of winning the Champions League based on the money bet. So basically, let's just say, here are the bets, right? There are 12% of the user base in this poly sports bet site, 12%, and all that have put their money of Arsenal winning Champions League. What the hell is that? 12%, you know. 12 bloody percent. Like, it's actually insane. 12% of Arsenal winning Champions League. To be honest, AFTV are saying that Arsenal have 20% chance in getting to the finals, so might be something there to be fair. What the hell just happened? Oh, never mind. Let's go. No more. Exactly, they bet money on this. That is actually kind of nuts. Most valuable Premier League starting 11, featuring 5 Arsenal players. 5 Arsenal players in this Premier League starting 11, according to Transfermarkt. Now, I'm not saying that this is something proper or anything, but what? Seriously, what? Where does this make any sense whatsoever, to some extent? Because Guardiola is 75 million, Saliba is 80, Gabriel is 75, and David Raya is 40. So you want to tell me that David Raya, according to Transfermarkt, is the most expensive goalkeeper in Premier League? What? Because if I had 40 million and you put in front of me Alisson or David Raya, I'm taking Alisson. Sorry, not sorry, but I'm taking Alisson. Let's be real. Like, what the hell is that about? And I would also argue that, for example, Ruben Diaz should be one of the most expensive center backs in the Premier League. He actually has won stuff at the end of the day. Because it feels like these values basically just rise and fall solely due to the performances, how they perform. Because Saliba has won nothing, Gabriel has won nothing, Raya has won nothing, well technically Euros, but has won nothing, Saka has won nothing, Rice has won, well, Conference League. And age, exactly, and age. So this makes absolutely zero sense whatsoever. Because for me, the most valuable, okay, strikers I can get behind, pause, and all that stuff. But Isak and Haaland I can understand. Palmer I can kind of get. Saka as well. Rodri should be there by default, right? Saliba, Gabriel, I can see that. But there is no chance in hell Guardiola should be in it. I would argue Ruben Diaz should be in there. Right? As a goalkeeper, Alisson, even Ederson to some extent. But Raya, I'm sorry, what? Like, seriously, what? Like, it's actually kind of nuts. It genuinely is kind of nuts. KDB is better than Wirtz, but because Wirtz has higher potential. Exactly. That's the thing. This basically reflects age and performance. That's all what it reflects. Because most of these players who are in this image, besides, I would say, Raya and Rodri, are hella young. Maybe Isak, I don't remember. Gabriel is 27, Raya is 28 or 29. Pretty much every single other one is like 25 or younger. Like, that's kind of nuts. Turned hot robot, he has one. Yeah, exactly. He's also not the same. So it's kind of weird. It genuinely is kind of weird. Anyways, Mikel Merino. Remember Mikel squared and everything? Mikel Merino has spoken about Arsenal's season, and he has spoken about Champions League. So here is what he had to say. Bloody hell. On facing Real Madrid in Champions League, it's a historic game for the club. It's true that Liverpool are a bit far away. A bit far away in the Premier League. A bit? 10 points is a bit. A bit far away. But the Champions League is special. The injuries can't be an excuse. But the season also can't be explained without them. To some extent, but injuries should not be an excuse. They can't be an excuse. Phase 5, well, phase 6 pretty much. 750 million spent. You would think that a proper manager with proper board would have proper players in the team to have as replacements. So you don't have this drop off. So you don't have to play a number 6 as a striker and stuff like that. You would think. Exactly. Injuries can't be an excuse. Big up for Merino for saying that. The fact that I'm playing at center forward, that wasn't the plan. Well, to be fair, hey. Liverpool win practically every game. We've lost important points. But that thing of changing the chip, we changed it in Champions League. We are confident. Oh, bloody hell. He has never played for Arsenal in Champions League, you know, outside this season. So what he's talking about, we have changed it. He has changed nothing. Let's be real. KDB, Bernard and Wirtz, who cooked all of Bundesliga, so the so-called best left back in the world. When we have Oyedeji holding the bench, Kenyon Edwards, Anush under 23. Exactly. We have players we can play at striker, but we don't. Obviously, so we just try to cross the ball as much as we can. We have players we can test on wings, but we don't, obviously, as well. So it's a weird one. It is a very, very weird one. It's definitely up to Arsenal, and it's up to the board and everything. It's up to Arteta, it's up to the board and all these people, because they haven't done the proper job necessary in 5 years to put us in a position when we get injuries, so we basically don't have to play a number 6 as a striker. Where does that make any sense? Like, seriously. That is kinda nuts. Kinda nuts, to say the least. Merino is a terrible player. Cannot argue with that. However, he has 5 goals this season, which is more than most of our attackers. You know what they say about us on ESPN, the club who just destroys talent and benches them. That's United, though. That is United massively. To be honest, Arsenal don't bench and destroy talent. Arsenal play and destroy the talent, because we have Arteta single-handedly, to some extent, has ruined Martinelli, has ruined Saka, obviously Aubameyang as well, Lacazette as well, because you cannot tell me that a golden boot winning player can genuinely fall off the face of the earth in span of half a year. Like it cannot happen. So it is what it is. Merino wouldn't start at any mid-table team. To be honest, Newcastle binned him. Borussia Dortmund binned him. Obviously that was 8 years ago, but hey, it still applies. And even Real Sociedad just let him go. He was last year of his contract. They hauled out for 35 mil. Oyedeji was talked about on ESPN about being on the bench when Arsenal have no striker. Yeah, exactly. That is the biggest issue. We need a striker. We have strikers in academy. We have a striker from the academy genuinely just being a body taking up a spot on the bench. And he still, at 22, hasn't kicked the ball for Arsenal for even 1 second in the main squad. And that is a big worry. Because let's be real, if that is the case, he's not playing. He's gonna get let go for free at the end of the day. He's gonna let go for free. We'll have Tielemans on Onana, Brighton, Baleba here. He really, to be honest, think about it. Tielemans was for free. McGinn was like, what, 15 million? Something like that. Onana was like 50. Okay. And everything. Their midfield in general was about what? 100 million? Same thing, same money we paid for Declan Rice? That whole of Aston Villa's midfield and all the subs they have closest in the midfield, and they walk over our midfield, including Rodgers and everyone else, Ramsey and all those players. It's actually kind of nuts. Martinelli was the one he ruined the most, bro. He was predicted by Pep and also by Klopp, by the way. Also by Klopp as well. And the top 6 managers as the next big thing. He was cooking defenders, giving them PTSD. And yeah, exactly. He changed the system, changed the tactics, just because he bottled single-handedly an 8-point lead. Sole reason why he changed the tactics from being attacking to be more conservative, to be more controlling, and then now completely defensive, and now he basically is a nothing. It feels like he has lost everything. He doesn't look like Brazilian. He looks like he's from, I don't know, San Salvador or something. The thing is, see, you say fake Brazilian and bin him. I understand that. I totally understand that. The thing is, I would give him a chance if Arteta would be willing enough to make this team attacking. If he basically forgets all this park the bus bullshit, defensive bullshit, control the games bullshit, and if he plays the football we played in 22-23 season, let's just say for 10-15 games, right? And gives the players the run out to see how they look when they attack again properly, then you could see what has happened, obviously. And I think if we played that style again, we would see arguably the best of Martinelli once again. I would say we would see the best of Martinelli once again. That is the biggest thing. Saki is on in the same books as well. Yes, he still gets GA. Yeah, cool. But comparative, if we compare to the time when he was dribbling past 3-4 players, taking them on and everything, he doesn't do that anymore. Predominantly, he passes it back, and that is the biggest issue. Arteta turned him into a robot. He basically being told exactly, and that is the biggest issue. We have robots in a team. We have basically AI androids running around the pitch. That's about it. That's about it. But when he gets a chance in front of the net, he shoots to row Z. Yeah, and that is also, partially it's obviously due to Martinelli himself, because he has lost the thread of the game. At the same time, it's also due to Mikel Arteta, because by changing the systems consistently, not giving proper game time and stuff like that, changing the way, controlling him as much, he has taken away his confidence. He has basically thrown it to the ground and stomped it into the mud. And Martinelli is struggling really hard to gain it back, and it shows in chances he used to put away with ease. He skies now. Chances when he takes on opponents, he cannot do it anymore. And that is obviously partially on Martinelli, but it is also on Mikel Arteta quite heavily. If Pep Klopp say you'll be next big thing, it means you. Yeah, but Klopp said this about Lokonga, and we all see where Lokonga is right now, to be fair. I take Yates from Forest over Merino. Can't believe we have such terrible players and all. 100,000, not 100 million. Wages, terrible players all over the place. Luis Diaz, yeah, exactly. Luis Diaz is on 50k. The best part is, Gabriel Jesus was on 90,000 when he was at City. He signs for Arsenal, 250. Calafiori was on what? Calafiori was on how much? 15,000 a week, I think. Calafiori was on 15,000 a week at Bologna, signs for Arsenal. Bang, 120, 120,000 a week, instantly. Merino was on 50, comes to Arsenal, 150. Like, Zinchenko was on what, 30, 40,000, comes to Arsenal, bang, 150. That's the only thing we have is the money, and that's how we sign the players. That's how Nuno Espirito doing well with the Forest team. Simple tactics, same consistent lineup. Exactly. Obviously, of course, the fact that they have basically almost for the last few windows, they have sold about 50 players and signed also 50 players. They have actually finally found the right balance. They have found the right balance. They have lucked out with Murillo, with Milenkovic, Aina, obviously getting Elanga, the United reject, who is now cooking everyone. Hudson-Odoi, Chelsea reject, who is cooking everyone. Obviously, Chris Wood is definitely helping a lot. Morgan Gibbs-White and everything. It's fantastic to look at, to be honest. It's very nice to look at. Let's be real. Nottingham Forest play better football than we do. Look at Trossard. He was cooking Liverpool 6 Denvers. He barely scores goals. That is also the case. The 22-23 season when we signed Trossard, he was player of the month for Arsenal for March or February or something like that. Next month comes, Arteta almost doesn't play him whatsoever. What's that about? Like, seriously. No. To be honest, manager of the year should be the manager who wins the league. Especially if it's Slot, given the things, right? But I can see why Nuno Espirito Santo will be in the running for the manager of the month, manager of the season. Yeah, he got locked up by Ashley Old, and that is definitely not a good look. So you're telling me that no one can get pocketed by any... Can. To be honest, Mbappe got pocketed by Tete. Remember Tete? He plays for Fulham, the right back, if I'm not mistaken. Or is he now in Turkey? He is moving so much from Lyon to Fulham to Turkey. I have lost the place where he's at right now. But he pocketed Neymar and Mbappe at the time as well. Quite nicely. Anyone can pocket anyone, let's be real. Same as Tomiyasu pocketed Mohamed Salah last year. Last year, 2 years ago. Goodison Park. Hey, Moise. Chris Wood is generally banging goals. That is actually kind of nuts. Elanga is insane. Slot is gonna win most likely manager of the season, definitely. But for me, top coaches follow like Tom Frank, Nuno Santo, Eddie Howe, proper coaches. Yeah, I think manager of the season will be Arne Slot because they have won Premier League first season and all that crap, right? But I wouldn't be surprised, let's just say, if Nuno Espirito Santo is the second, Eddie Howe is the third, and Thomas Frank or someone like that are close runners up. Let's be real. Yeah, and Nuno managed pockets. Yeah, then it happens. Obviously, anyone can pocket anyone. Let's be real. Like, remember when we played Aston Villa away this season? Matty Cash got injured in the first 10-15 minutes. And they subbed on like an 18-year-old who basically hasn't kicked the ball for Arsenal whatsoever. And he pocketed Martinelli like no tomorrow. Or was it Trossard? I think it was Martinelli. He pocketed Martinelli and he's a center back. He was playing at right back. He pocketed Martinelli for the whole game. Anyone can pocket anyone at the end of the day. It's just a matter of situations and how you adapt to those circumstances. And obviously, it looks like, for example, Martinelli doesn't have the footballing IQ to adapt to the situations and to the opponents he's playing. He has same move, same style, and same things he wants to do. Similar like Arteta, same tactics, same passing scenarios and everything what he wants to do. And if that doesn't work, he's out of ideas and he basically looks like a lost sheep. And that's how Arsenal played the same way. Yeah, Nedeljkovic, that's the guy. Less resources, lesser players, good results. Yeah, they sold a lot, they signed a lot. Avoided FFP and everything, and at the end of the day they did, and they are where they are right now. Obviously, I expect Nottingham Forest next season to have a drop-off. I'm not gonna lie. They won't be able to sustain this run in Premier League and in Champions League or Europa League, wherever they're gonna be in. But obviously it's nice to see a Champions League winner being back in Europe. The question is how much Marianakis with Edu will invest in Nottingham Forest. I think that will show a lot at the end of the day. It will be very interesting to see. Yeah, Lewis Hall pocketed Jesus and Havertz. Yeah. Don't let me go on Haaland, who got pocketed by who? Yeah, Huijsen, he looks very good, by the way. No, it's no wonder that Liverpool, Real Madrid, everyone's looking at him. Slot won't do what he's doing with... It doesn't matter. Slot won the league. He will win the manager of the season. Nobody cares what you have done over the season. First things first is trophies. Then there is spot in the table, and then the rest of the stuff. That is the biggest thing. At the end of the day, football is a trophy. Trophies are basically the measurement for success. and that is about it, and that's gonna happen. Nelly just needs a coach who knows how to play actual attacking football and doesn't turn him into... Exactly. Because Martinelli was cooking under Unai Emery. Because Martinelli is also Emery's signing. Let's be real. He scouted it himself, if I'm not mistaken. And also, Martinelli was thriving 2 seasons ago, 22-23 season when Arsenal were attacking football. So there is no argument that if we play attacking, expansive, very quick football, Martinelli feels genuinely fantastically well. The thing is, we don't do that anymore. Activate Huijsen's release clauses now. We are not going to do that, let's be real. He could be, but he needs to play, and he's not going to replace Gabriel or Saliba. And Arteta doesn't like to rotate, we all know that. He wants like a proper 11 or like 13 players who are solid in a spot. He doesn't want to change them. He wants to have the same players available at all costs every time. Yeah, Iraola is also a very decent manager. Trophies aren't the only measurements of success, otherwise teams like Wigan wouldn't exist. Just Google 5 minutes. That's why top gunners exist. If trophies aren't the main thing in sport at the end of the day, nothing else is. Because if you talk about everything else, it's nuts. Huijsen, hi, bring me Hato. Hato is playing at the moment, isn't he? Netherlands 1-1. Hato is playing. 5.7. Hato has the lowest rating, if we go by ratings, lowest rating in the team. Croatia 2-0 up. Perisic scored and assisted. Why is France struggling? Is Deschamps really moron or what he's doing there? What's his starting 11? 4-3-1-2. That's a weird formation. Or 4-3-3, I would assume. Guendouzi, Chouameni, and Rabiot midfield. That is very defensive midfield, I'm not gonna lie. That is genuinely defensive, very defensive midfield. No creative spark from the midfield. That is kinda, not gonna lie, embarrassing. Why is Olise on the bench? Why is Olise not playing and starting? Why is Desiree Doué and Zaire Emery on the bench? Kinda nuts, I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, that France starting 11 is kinda embarrassing, exactly. Rodgers, I wouldn't mind Rodgers at Arsenal from Aston Villa, 100%. Genuinely, that is the case. What else? Italy still 1-0 up. Well, lineups. Burkhardt is playing as a striker. Where Donkey cannot play, he's injured, unfortunately. That's good. That would be interesting to see. Interesting 11. Interesting 11 for Germany. I'm not gonna lie. What else is playing? Georgia won 3-0. Mikhail Tadze scored 2 goals. Mamardashvili assisted. Kvaratskhelia didn't play? Yeah, Kvaratskhelia didn't play. Is he injured? Or what? Why didn't Kvaratskhelia play? Austria winning 1-0 against Serbia. Gregoric scored. You know, low-key, when you look at the Serbia squad, right? Serbia actually has very decent team if you don't look at defense. Even though defense, they also have very good defense. It's just the fact that none of them have gone to the international duties, have they? Serbia had like Rajkovic, Jovic, Vlahovic, Samardzic, Maksimovic, Lukic. Gudel is very decent. Babic. Yeah, they have very decent ones. It's weird that they haven't done too much in recent times. It's very weird. Mitrovic is striker as well, of course. Wait, why there's no Milenkovic? Is he injured? Is Milenkovic injured? Why is he not playing? Is he injured at the moment? Why is he not with the squad? No, he hasn't been injured for 3 years or 2 years. Freaking hell, he doesn't get injured almost whatsoever. Interesting that Milenkovic is not playing. Turkey won 3-1. Kokcu, Aktor Koglu, and Kahvechi scored. Okay, cool. Oh, Netherlands scored 2-1. 2-1. Netherlands have scored. Kubrasi is injured, by the way. Kubrasi got injured. Reindeer scored for Netherlands. Kubrasi got injured. Bad news for Barcelona. Kubrasi just got injured. Very bad news for Barcelona. Kubrasi got injured. That's definitely not a good thing for Barca and for the Champions League. Definitely. Yeah, Moani over Lisa is disgusting. Get the Shams out of French. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, Musiala is playing. Yeah, Serbia has actually a very decent squad. Lukic from Fulham who locked us down and made us like, yep. Big up Jesus. Jeez, the source leaving warned away. Yeah, I can get Isak definitely 100%. He made our midfield look weak. Power Reindeer again. Yeah, Reindeer as well. Wouldn't they see Milan? Yeah, he also wouldn't be bad in Arsenal's midfield 100%. Oh, 2026 World Cup. Oh, I know it's next. You know, like predicting World Cup, it quite heavily revolves around injuries. Who is gonna be injured, who's gonna be fit, and everything, right? But I'm gonna go with France or Spain. France or Spain is gonna win World Cup next year. France or Spain. Oh, Michael wants Sesko. Sesko or Gyökeres. I see. Osimhen, I would love Osimhen at Arsenal 100%. France, Spain, Germany. I think Germany still needs to resolve issues. I think defensively they're lacking, and a striker-wise, it's definitely just a shit show for them. Kai Havertz a striker or something like that for the World Cup, it's not gonna work. Portugal, you know, Portugal is one of those teams in general who should be doing good, but they always manage to bottle it somehow. Always. Something. And plus they have Martinez as the manager. The guy who ruined pretty much Belgium, so he's now gone to Portugal. Not too sure Portugal can do very good for him. The Martinez factor at Portugal is a very, very very slippery subject in that regard. Semenyo or Osimhen. Could work, definitely could work. Semenyo, yeah. I think Brazil. Brazil as well. Brazil, for the players they have, they should be able to win something. But they are not. Brazil... Brazil. I'm just thinking, the left backs for Brazil is an issue. Germany about to score, by the way. Center backs should be decent. Gabriel and someone else. Murillo, for example. Right backs as well are a 50-50 one. Midfield is definitely going to be sorted like Bruno Guimaraes and players like that. They definitely have midfielders like, you know, Joe Linton and stuff like that. Probably Savio. Striker situation for Brazil and the wingback situation since Marcelo and Dani Alves retired is a very big issue for Brazil. Same goes for strikers. Once an even creative number 10 since Kaká and those players retired, they don't have replacements. They are struggling in that regard. And it's kind of easy sometimes to lock them down. It's very, very, very weird. Interestingly enough, nobody has said Vini. Yeah, Vini, Savio, and the striker is a big issue in that regard for Brazil. If no Neymar, Brazil are cooked. Vini isn't good for Brazil. Well, maybe he will become good. Who knows? At any time, I prefer Gyökeres than prefer. I don't want Sesko at Arsenal whatsoever. Nowhere near Arsenal. I don't want him. Let's be real. Retzegi? Maybe. Yeah, Vini at Arsenal, no thanks. Yeah, Vini, Rafinha, and what's its face? Rodrigo, cannot forget Rodrigo, of course, and Savio. So they have wingers. They don't have a striker. That is the biggest issue for them, obviously. Wings, Barco, do I look? I don't think we are not getting Barcola. Yeah, Barca ain't selling Rafinha. Now with Flick, how they're playing, they pretty much are not gonna sell any of their main guys. They will get rid of someone, they will sign someone, but they are not. I think Rafinha will be untouchable, Yamal obviously untouchable, and stuff like that. Like, Endrick is not good enough to lead Brazil's main team. In the World Cup, no thanks. He's just not good enough to lead the attacking line. To be the number 9, basically. He's not good enough. Yet, at least, for now. The Bobby Charlton, dude, he was watching Bobby Charlton, man. That comment still probably haunts him. We will probably get Ferran Torres, dude. We've been after Ferran Torres for about 50 years, what it feels like. Since he left the city to go to Barcelona, we've been in for him for the longest time. We'll end up with Sesko and Kudus. And the worst part is, we're gonna overpay for both of them. Overpay for both of them. Kudus we could have gone for 40, and if we get him, it's gonna be 80-85 million. So that's gonna be double the money instantly. Similar like with Isak. Arsenal didn't want to buy Isak because at the time when he moved to Newcastle for 70 million, Arsenal thought they were too expensive. He was too expensive. Now they're willing to pay double the money, 150 for him. Make it make sense. And Sesko, no. Or that random striker guy in there, okay? Maybe. For me, pick Victor Joker's only things to change that are... I can see that. For me, the issue is that surgery he had on his knee really bothers me. Because the way players get injured at Arsenal on so consistent basis due to training, and they usually have hamstring and knee injuries, is very worrying, I'm not gonna lie. Give me Goulet, Ruiz, Vitinha, Desiree Doué, Retzegui, Osimhen, and Lookman, dude. I would love for Arsenal to sign Brahim Diaz and or Arda Güler. I would absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. Put Odegaard in an 8 and Declan Rice as a 6. And let's see what happens. Let them cook. Let them bloody cook. Fabian Ruiz, I wouldn't be against. Vitinha from PSG also wouldn't be against. Retzegui, it's a 50-50. Osimhen for sure. Lookman for the left wing spot maybe also could work in that regard. Who scored for Germany? I haven't checked still. Kleindienst. First time hearing about this guy. He's 29. Oh, Mönchengladbach. Oh, for frick's sake, my brain. I forgot. Mönchengladbach. Yeah. Forgot the club. Denmark-Portugal is still 0-0. Eriksson missed a penalty. That must suck. Vestergaard, Eriksson, Hjulmland, Isaksen, Norgard, Mele, Lindström, Bier. Oh, Biereth is starting for Denmark. Huh? No Dorgo, no Højlund, none of them are starting. Interesting. By the way, off topic, right? I'm looking at the Danish squad, right? Remember when Arsenal were linked with this guy? I think it was 2-3 seasons ago. We were linked with this guy. Or was it when Giroud just left? At some point, we were linked with this guy. Jonas Wind. Remember that guy? Still gives me nightmares. Diaz too. Yeah. What about Ruiz? Yeah, Fabian Ruiz. Yeah, definitely. Rasmus Højlund scored a goal before Arsenal get the real strength. He has already scored, so that is the biggest issue. Oh, Wind. Yeah. I was just looking through Denmark's squad and I just saw Jonas Wind. And I instantly thought about like Arsenal were linked with him at some point. He's Danish champion 2 times with Copenhagen. Yeah, 2 times with Copenhagen. Madness. Austria still. Ireland beating Bulgaria 2-1. Wow. Azaz and Doherty scored. Interesting. What else is here? Scotland? McTominay has scored for Scotland, ironically enough. McTominay is balling, by the way. McTominay is different gravy. He has gone from a pitbull in the midfield into attacking maestro under Conte at Napoli. It's actually the transformation comparatively from him from United to Napoli. It's actually quite not insane to watch. How good actually some players can be under certain managers. And it just makes you wonder how mismanaged and misused certain players are under certain managers. Like, you can tell that that manager doesn't know how to basically unlock that player's potential. It is actually kind of nuts many times. Belgium, Ukraine. Belgium are winning. Lukaku scored. Hey, Lukaku. Lukaku. Oh, look at this, by the way. Look at this. Look at this. Guess where Zinchenko is playing? Zinchenko is playing in the midfield. Who would have thought? Who genuinely would have thought Zinchenko is playing in the midfield? Into Bundesliga striker, I would take a Schick, Ekitike, and Gyuriassi. And then I still also wouldn't mind taking a punt at Boniface. I'm not gonna lie, Boniface also would be a very interesting option for Arsenal. Very, very interesting option. Ruiz overhyped like Rabiot doesn't raise the level. No thanks, Guimaraes next to Rice. Bruno Guimaraes 100%. But if you ask me, Fabian Ruiz over pretty much every single midfielder we have. Pretty much every single midfielder. I would take Fabian Ruiz. Over Merino 100%. Over Odegaard 100%. Only one Declan Rice at the end of the day. Because I'm already calculating in that Partey and Jorginho are leaving. McTominay was never bad overall. He's a 6 and the Nate he just never played. Yeah, exactly, and it's actually nuts. Yeah, exactly. Play players in their actual positions and they actually could work properly, ironically enough. Oh, Kosovo scored. Who? I don't even cannot pronounce that, by the way. Iceland. Interesting. Wait. Any Arsenal players playing today? Gabon won 3-0 against Seychelles. Lineups. Aubameyang didn't play. Okay, swiftly moving on. Kenya, Angola, Comoro. Wait, no Partey? What the hell is this? Partey hasn't played. Nuts. Beggars are choosy, I agree, but it's like saying take Welbeck over Merino up front right now. To be honest, I would take Danny Welbeck over Havertz, over Jesus, and over Merino up top. 100%. 100%. Yeah, Saliba is playing today. And interestingly enough, if I'm not mistaken, yeah, Saliba is playing left-sided center back. He's playing where Gabriel plays for Arsenal. So he is not... You can play him in mixed positions. Yeah, not as much anymore. Like, the way it has been ruined by EA, it's actually insane. I pretty much have played every single FIFA since FIFA 98. So, what? 27 years? It ain't no party without party. What y'all doing? Yeah. That French squad, that midfield for this French squad is genuinely pathetic. It's very defensive. Why is the Shams putting out a midfield like that against Croatia? And if you look at Croatia, Modric is like 50, Perisic is like 50, Kramaric is also like 33 to 34, Kovacic is like 30. Quite a few players for them are like 30 plus. Konate came off for Upamecano. Is Konate injured? No, just subbed off. Never mind. Never mind. What the fuck? We're under 2 from Croatia. It's actually kind of nuts. Croatia will actually win. Croatia, you know, they are the... I don't want to say Croatia are dark horses, but Croatia are one of those teams that always deliver some sort of surprise. Always deliver some sort of surprise in one of the tournaments. Always. Bappe, what are you doing, bro? Score like it. To be honest, he's playing against... Mbappe is playing striker, not left wing, which already is kind of... Mbappe is more of a winger than a striker, so he likes to cut in and everything, so that definitely is not working in his favor. But the fact that Deschamps is in 63rd minute at the moment in the game and still hasn't subbed on Barcola, Desiree Doué, Olise, Zaire Emery, one of those 4 players, or Kamavinga, one of those 5 players, is actually pathetic and embarrassing. Genuinely pathetic and embarrassing. I'm not gonna lie. That is actually kind of nuts. Italy is always a team I like growing up and see such a weak. It's sad to see such a weak lineup. What is it? Wait, Italy, right? What is Italy's lineup at the moment? Donnarumma, he's useless. Di Lorenzo, Bastoni, Calafiori. Oh, look, he's at center back. Lul. Politano, Barella, Ravella, Tonali, Udogi, Raspadori, and Keane on the bench. Bellanova, Gatti, Buongiorno, Ricci, Maldini, Meret, Vicario. Not that Maldini, by the way. Fratesi, Luca, Ruggeri, Zaccagni, and Casadei. Yes, Spalletti has lost the plot. In a way, Spalletti has lost the plot a bit in this regard. Because Calafiori at 3 at the back, that's his best position, I'm not gonna lie. Bastoni as a center back, 100% I agree. Why Buongiorno is not playing, that is a bit of a travesty, because Buongiorno, I really like Buongiorno as a center back. Politano as a right mid is a weird choice, but I get it. Barella, okay, cool. Tonali and Udogi I can get. Why is Rovella in the holding number 6 role is also weird. Why there is no, what's its face? How am I skipping? Juventus number 6. Juventus number... Juventus midfielder. Locatelli, yeah, Locatelli. Why not Locatelli is also kind of weird, not even with the squad. And of course, the striker situation is a massive disaster in that regard. The strikers and wingers are, yeah, strikers and wingers are terrible. Keane, Raspadori, Politano, Doggy, yeah, that it's similarly like it's something. Yeah, it is very poor. Like, for example, Brazil, they have wingers, they don't have strikers, right? Italy, at this current stage, don't have attack. You could argue they have Chiesa, they have Keane, they have Politano. All are mediocre. None of them are top tier game changers. And that is something they need desperately. Netherlands 2-1, 2-0. Serbia scored. Who scored for Serbia? Samardzic scored. Big up Samardzic, by the way. Samardzic scored. Yeah, Serbia is one of those teams that always have some very solid squads. They always are tough to play against. Slovakia versus Slovenia. You know, Slovenia is one of those teams where you know only Benjamin Sesko, and then you know 2 good goalkeepers. Oblak and what's its face? Handanovic. That's it. That's about it, what you know from Slovenia, basically, at the end of the day. It's Sesko, it is Oblak and Handanovic. That's about it. Genuinely. Unless, maybe if you watch Serie A, you maybe know Lovric. That's it. Genuinely it. That's actually kind of nuts if you think about it. That is actually kind of nuts in that regard. I grew up on Del Piero, De Rossi. Yeah. Del Piero, De Rossi, Totti, Cannavaro, Chiellini, Bonucci, and Fabio Grosso, Gattuso, Pirlo, Luca Toni, and all these players. And now you look at the Italian team and think, where the hell did it all go wrong at the end of the day? Where did it all go wrong? That is the big question. Where did it all go wrong? That's how it feels like. Yeah, I'm Croatia hated. Croatia are one of those weird ones. They can basically ruin you, or they can get ruined in a way. But yeah, I think on that note, we had some nice chats actually. It's about Arsenal, World Cup teams and everything. What do you put it down to as why the teams can't compete? Because they get money from FIFA and plus their players play in big leagues? Why these teams can't compete? Because they get money. Many teams, I'm not saying all of teams, but many teams, I'm not talking about the big teams, I'm talking these mediocre, maybe nearly up there teams. 2 things. They don't have the talent as much, maybe, or their own infrastructure, footballing wise, is maybe good, but it doesn't get as much recognition and it doesn't get as much development at the end of the day. Plus, given the fact that for most teams, most of the big players play very big roles. And players already play about 70 games a season almost, right? When they go to international duty, no matter how big of an honor it is, right? They are still drained. The amount of games, it's actually kind of nuts, I'm not gonna lie. Africa versus Europe versus South America versus Asia. Who wins National Team Super League? Dude, we have World Cup every 4 years. Why you need this? We have World Cup every 4 years. Or do you think like you basically take all the best African players versus all the best European players versus all the best South American players, and versus all of best Asia players from Asia specifically? You think that way? If you think it that way, well, it's pretty much safe to say that Asia will be last. Africa will be third. And Europe versus South America will be a coin toss at the end of the day. I generally believe it will be a coin toss. Genuinely would be a coin toss in my opinion, 50-50. But yeah, I think on that note I'm gonna end today's stream. It was kind of fun, I'm not gonna lie, talking about these random things. Usually don't talk about international games, about international football. By the way, Ukraine scored. Gutsulak scored. 1-1. Just saying this right now. Yeah, big up everyone. Big up Marlon, big up Nathan, big up Coach, big up everyone who joined, who subscribed, who commented, everything, who kept the talks going. You have been quite fantastic. Big up. I'm gonna try. I'm genuinely gonna try. I haven't been to work in 2 weeks, by the way. Genuinely 2 weeks I've been sick. I really hope that maybe next week I can get the back to work. But yeah, for today I'm gonna be out. Take care, enjoy football. Maybe see you tomorrow, maybe not. Not sure as of yet. But for today, I am out.